so far this season, because of where the story's going, Gambi's been on the show, but you haven't always been on the show. With the facial recognition or facial.
Anytime cloaked Gambi is there, I show up.
Yeah.
He always uncloaks, and it's me. So I beg to differ.
Well, but is it weird sharing your face with another performer? Or is that
Well, I don't know that that's what I'm doing. It's cool.
Yeah.
To see a shot where like my character or my character cloaked as the other face enters the sanctum, and then the camera comes around behind us. I take the helmet off, and it's me. I love it, and that isn't even trick photography.
Yeah.
That was a Hollywood switch, is what we call it. As they came around, he jumped out and I jumped in, so they didn't have to do anything with computer graphics or anything, and those are always fun.
Yeah.
You have a little noise going on, huh?
Yeah.
If it doesn't bother you, it's okay with me.
It don't bother us.
We're all written interviews, so you're
Okay.
There was one scene, again, where you uncloaked with Jefferson. I think y'all were in the diner, and you were telling Jefferson about reconnecting with Lynn and to keep that bond, and then he mentioned something about your wife or ex-wife, I forget which one it was. Is that sort of like leaving an Easter egg for maybe her to pop up later in the year?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, they certainly have planted the seed.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about it in the past. I mean, the guy has a past that includes relationships. It's not just putting kids in pods and being a bad ASA guy. He's a human being. So, I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be fun to play with someone coming back.
Kim Cattrall? Just a thought.
I'm not in the casting department. that is a thought.
I'd like to see that.
I think that would blow some minds.
It really would, right?
It never occurred to me.
I would love that.
I think that would blow some minds for sure.
What's Gambi's main goal this season?
It's the same goal that he's always had: is to protect his loved ones, and certainly as much progress as he can make towards reconciling his past and continuing in the amends process for cleaning up the mess that he had as a younger man. That's been his life's goal for a long time, and I think emerging from the underworld would be a nice thing to do.
That would be a great thing.
I think we were talking about that earlier,
Yeah.
how isolated you've been sometimes from
It's
everyone else.
it's been I get to have very intimate scenes with Nafisa and Chantal, Grace Choi and Anissa, and certainly Jefferson and Lynn and the family, and some others that we'll see a little later, but being able to move freely about, living my life in the open air and sunshine is something that he certainly hasn't been able to do for a while.
What do you think it'll take? What will have to happen for him to finally be able to come out from the underground?
Well, it's going to take finding out who wanted to put him there in the first place, and making sure they're no longer capable of doing that. And who knows?
So now, have we met this person?
I cannot say for sure. I am on. I'm being supervised for no spoilers. But that would be what it would take to get him out from underground. Is and he said it freely in other episodes. I have to find out who wanted me gone before I can come out. And but Henderson knows I'm around. He knows I'm alive.
Was that something that surprised you when that happened last season?
Well, if you're an actor on a television show, you're always expected to get killed off. So when it happened and it wasn't permanent, it was, phew, dodged that bullet. But I think it was kind of cool. It was skillfully done. And last year's episode, in fact, where I do get supposedly killed, I get attacked, was directed by Michael Schultz, who's directing the episode we're doing right now.
Okay.
And he's just an amazing person to work with. You know, he's 80 years old and he's directed everything under the sun.
Nice.
And he's got more energy than anybody.
Wow.
The ASA, as this show has gone on, is just, you know, as you've learned more about them, they just come off as more and more just sinister and nefarious. And did Gambi, like, did he know how bad they were? Did he know?
No, that's why he quit.
Yeah.
No, once he found out what these experiments were doing and the truth of what was actually happening and how cold it was and how inhumane it was, he quit. And I think he even references that. That's why he got out. You know, let's say the ASA is allegorical to any branch of the service or any special operations outfit that say drafts young men and women. You know, when I was a kid, I was coming up, I had a draft card for Vietnam, and a lot of us, you know, there was like special forces, there was Green Berets and all this stuff, and all the guys I know that went and came back with that, they did horrible things that they've regretted for their entire lives. But they went in there with their eyes wide open and very idealistic, thinking they were doing something good. And I think that's just the story of people that have been in military and the espionage services throughout history. He's a guy that, you know, is a human being, and, oh, let me go do some good over there. Oops.
And what do you hope the audience takes away from your character this season? Or so far, what you've shot?
That he's an honest person. Mm-hmm. That he's an honest person that cares about the people that he loves, and is willing to go to any lengths to defend them.
We see in the first 4 episodes, basically the entire family going off in every different direction.
As families do.
Yeah, but for Gambi, who's kind of trying to keep the center of it all, trying to keep his focus on all of them, must be challenging for him because he wants to help Anissa, but now Jefferson's out, and so he wants to help Jefferson kind of follow his thing, and then hopefully you'll have a little help with Jennifer and that whole stuff. So how does it, is it confusing for you to kind of follow it?
Not at all. I track them all simultaneously, and I got a lot of time on my hands. You know, it's like a, you know, it's like Grandpa who remembers to send everybody a card. Where do you get the time to do all that? I got nothing but time.
Then who do you think of the family as the one who needs the most help from Gambi?
Well, I've been needs or accepts. It's a little fine line there. I don't know who needs my help, but Anissa and Gambi make a pretty terrific team. And I gotta say, I don't know if I can.
Don't.
If you don't, when in doubt, go around.
I'm gonna go around. Let's just say that something critical happens, and I gotta be there for her. Ooh. When in doubt, shut up.
Safe and
Something. Yeah. Let's just say that Anissa needs Gambi, and he's there for her.
Well, we can't wait to see it.
No, they're good scenes. The scenes that we play together are really good scenes. They're good acting scenes that are very very rewarding. We have a really strong relationship because, you know, Anissa's character has just the least questions when it comes to her relationship with her Uncle Gambi. You know, it's just straight ahead. Help me out, and let's just get this done. She's a no-nonsense customer.
Does Gambi see, at the point we're at the show, which is episode 4, does Gambi see what's happening with Jennifer and Agent Odell? Because I can't imagine he'd be too approving of.
Yeah, well, it's not really, no. I'm not super privy to it. We keep an eye on her. We talk about it. We know that she's being tantalized and perhaps tempted, but you know once again, you can't play too heavy-handed with a teenager, and they're going to just rebel and do exactly the opposite of what you say.
Are you doing more scenes with Grace this year? Because I know you mentioned.
I know we have a couple of. We have a couple.
Because I could see Anissa maybe turning to. I guess you helped you also helped Anissa find Grace, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, definitely. And you know, last season we talked about her whole background and who she was and where she came from. And it's very very emotional stuff because Grace Choi comes from a really horrible background.
Right.
You know?
You know, I know in the show, Jefferson and Gambi have, you know, they've had a falling out, but they've kind of mended ways, and you know, I don't know exactly what sort of ground they're on now, but
Well, we're on very good ground. It wasn't kind of. It was very complete. After I get killed by those people, and even Jefferson doesn't know that I'm alive, and he tracks me down because I've been keeping tabs on them. And the drone crash, and he finds me holed up in this motel, and he says, "When are you going to learn that you are my family?" And he pulls me in for this big hug, and that's the end of all that nonsense.
oh, okay.
You know, we're tight.
Well, now, I mean, what I was wondering though was, with Jefferson being locked up, Gambi has been kind of, you know, the father figure there, kind of as the girls need him, you know, and yeah, I guess, you know, what sort of, I mean, does Jefferson acknowledge that? Like, I mean, he's got to be really grateful at that point, right?
Well, you know, I can't say what he's got to feel, but you know, he volunteered for that lockup in the pit. And you know, we take away from it that which is good, which is this cool new suit that the ASA developed, and Gambi's very adamant that I could have done the same thing if I had $20 billion and 25 guys working around the clock. But then I disable it from any of the ASA's tracking devices, so we make it his.
How long before, I guess, in the immediate future, before, you know, Gambi starts kind of butting heads with, like, the family, kind of, sort of, not in the sense of, like, he doesn't agree with what they're doing, but he has the most, probably, knowledge right now of the ASA and all of that stuff, and, you know, knowing that them going and dealing with Agent Odell's never going to end very well, so do you see any of that?
No. Well, you know, don't go there. Don't do that. No, I'm telling you, you don't want to go down there. Well, yeah. People do. You know, you got to leave people alone. Yeah. And I think Gambi knows that.
That must be frustrating.
It is for anybody who's a parent or in a position of trust. You know, when people got to find out for themselves, and it's just
because people are really hard-headed on the show. That's the one thing I noticed.
People are hard-headed everywhere.
Yeah, they just don't listen sometimes. I don't know.
You know, I think I usually count on one hand the times my kids have said, "Okay, Dad." I won't do that.
That's true.
You know.
What do you think is Gambi's overall impression of Agent Odell?
Oh, he thinks he's just like this cold dinosaur, this absolutely heartless guy that has just gotten way too deep. That, you know, he is so blinded by his sense of purpose that he's forgotten his humanity, and that's where we split. We were both in the ASA. I was a special operations guy, just like him, but he, you know, is willing to compartmentalize and set aside that he's experimenting on kids, you know, for what he deems to be the greater good, for the security of the country. He sees himself as a patriot, and you know, that if some people get hurt in the process, well, so be it. And my character says, you know, enough people have been hurt in this process. Okay, we need to stop now and do it different. That's where we're different. You know, he's willing to go to any lengths to advance his agenda, and you know, I'm not going to do that anymore because I formed a connection with people that I love. You know, and Jefferson is a meta-human. And I don't want him in the pit, but you know, what are you going to do? And I'm getting excited.
What do you think that is the most challenging thing that you've done this season playing this character?
we're like more than halfway done. The most challenging thing, I don't know if I can remember. It's all kind of a blur right now. I'd have to take a minute with that, and I mean you see, because the episodes run together as a continuum. The whole arc of it staying in sync with everything that's going on, with all the characters that are being introduced, and the past stuff that's being unearthed, and so on and so forth. Staying ahead of all that and abreast of all that. And we have also the crossover event. It all can get a little complicated. Certainly, I mean, there's a scene that I can't. It's coming up, so I can't really tell you what it is. But it's very intense, and emotionally, it's very intense. And once again, it involves Nafisa, Anissa, and it's critical. So emotionally, and trying to be really, really on point with that was an acting challenge.
Last question, guys.
Do you play a part in the crossover?
Not with all the other heroes. No, only. You're allowed to talk about it at all?
You're allowed to talk about the crossover, yeah.
Only Black Lightning goes and parlays with all the other heroes. He's the only guy that goes.
But will we see you in it at all?
Well, you'll see me in the episodes that bookend it.
Yeah.
But in the actual place where they all are, in that other galaxy, I'm not going to be there. I'm at home keeping the home fire.
Thank you guys so